If you're a drug dealer and you're out there and you want a game for you, there is one now. Welcome to Active Reload, ladies and gentlemen. It is episode 86. There's some pretty big indie games that are kind of exploding on PC right now.
Yeah, cool.
Popping off on the streaming scene, and in tune, people are playing it because of that.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. Doom Dark Ages had a preview event, so a bunch of people got to play it.
Yeah, we got to play it. We got invited.
Nope, not there yet. We're not that cool yet. And Game Informer's back. They are back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about that for just a little bit, and then we'll get into what's coming out and what we're playing.
Yeah, who would have thought? Good games sell.
Welcome to the show. Okay, we got breaking news here. I just saw it pop up on my screen. Night Dive Studios, they've been wanting to do a bunch of remakes for Xbox 360. In the previous gen, we saw that pop up.
Yeah.
They have been coined to do Killzone 1, Killzone 2 remaster for PlayStation 5.
No,
I just saw that
didn't.
pop up on my screen. It's under the, it was first reported by VGC, Video Game Chronicle.
What?
And it's also being reported on by Game Informer, who I said we would be talking about here in just a second.
What?
Also, today is...
My boys are doing like my favorite game, one of my favorite games.
Also, today is April Fool's. That's why you shouldn't believe anything that you are hearing today. Sorry, Grant. Got you good. That's how we do things around here, ladies and gentlemen. Should have seen his face. I got him good. That's how it's done. All right? You sell it.
Well,
Did I get you?
You sold it before we started rolling. That's
I know,
why.
that's the point.
You're like, dude, I just
I had to set it up before we actually got started, you know? Got him.
Because
Happy April Fools.
there was news about them saying they wanted to.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't
You
think of
got me
I couldn't
good.
think I couldn't think of a I was saying that and I couldn't think of a like a news outlet. That's why I was like, VGC.
VGC.
Yeah.
Because they were in
Maybe they
talks. Well, this is what Night Dive does all the time. They put it out there. Hey, the Thing game. Remember that game, The Thing? We want to remaster that, and all of a sudden, a month later, they go, we got the rights like a year ago to do it.
So we've been doing it. Yeah. That's not happening for Killzone. I'm sorry, bud. Hey, would you be really? Or no, that was Aspire that did Star Wars. That's right.
Yeah, I would be pissed. Was them
if it was Aspire? Would that have been a better prank if I said it's Aspire doing Killzone remaster? Because then you'd be pissed, but you'd be happy there's a Killzone remaster coming?
No, I'd be really upset because they would ruin it, and because there's a multiplayer component to both Killzone 2 and 3.
And that went well for the Star Wars remaster.
Yeah.
I got him, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, I can't believe you did that to me.
Got him. It's April 1st.
Man.
For those that don't know, you're probably not hearing this on April Fool's Day, but, you know,
April Fool's.
Got to start off with a little jokerino.
April Fool's.
So there's a lot going on in the PC world of video games in terms of big releases in indie studios dropping some big stuff.
Where else would it be?
Schedule 1. That is the name of a game that's kind of taking the world by storm right now. I've seen a lot of TikTok clips of this game that are very funny. People making the greatest drugs and chemicals put together and giving them to unsuspecting people on the street. It's got a really bad name. This feels like a placeholder name. I don't understand why it's called Schedule 1.
Because it's a Schedule 1 drug.
I don't think most people know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Term.
I've never heard that in my life because I'm a good guy. I'm a good person.
Yeah. Well, okay. Cannabis is still labeled under a
that's true.
Schedule 1.
But that
right up there with heroin.
Are you making cannabis in this game, or is
you
it
start
meth?
out? Yeah, I can tell you.
Yeah, go ahead. Big Schedule 1 guy here in many ways.
This is made by one person, mostly.
Really?
Person. Yeah. Really cool.
Cool.
He's also a student, which is also
wow.
Cool.
That's crazy. Can you imagine making this game and then also failing your class because you didn't have the time to do it?
It goes along with the other games that we're going to talk about quickly or after this, which are big hits that happened overnight, and they all have comedy in them.
Yeah.
So they're all three that we're going to talk about very funny.
Based around shareability, too.
Yeah, and multiplayer and social stuff. But yeah, you start off with making cannabis that you grow on a plant in a hotel or a motel. And then you're in a little town. The art style resembles Bob's Burgers.
Okay.
Definitely resembles like the Bob's Burgers style.
I see what you're saying.
Art.
There was another game that released that kind of had this art style that released recently. I cannot remember what it was, but it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, so imagine like very crude Fortnite graphics with Bob's Burgers. aesthetic.
I just supplied absolutely something completely useless when I said that.
Yeah, and you just start dealing drugs. You can go deal to people on the street. You can deal. You have other warring factions, or there's one warring faction in your neighborhood who ends up burning your motel down or your RV down.
I didn't realize there was a story to this.
Yeah, there's like there's like checkpoints or milestones or whatever, and something happens. But
Checkpoint, have your hotel burnt to the ground.
But for the most part, it's just a simulator.
It's based around, it's very comedy based too. It's not like a serious game whatsoever.
No, it's not a serious sim. It is sim because you do work, you trim stuff, you cook stuff, but it's mostly just funny. I haven't played it, but I was watching a lot of people play it. And one of the guys I was watching, he got some guy hooked on the street, and the guy ended up getting so hooked and he lost his money. He just started attacking you, the drug dealer, which is funny. You can eventually move on to hiring people to do the small dealing stuff, and then you just work the empire. It's really cool.
I've seen a couple of clips where you can just mix a whole bunch of random stuff together and make a drug out of it. Like I saw one that I think it was weed or something, but they mixed it with like compound chemicals and then it turns into a bomb, and then you give it to the person, they smoke it, and then they explode after a timer goes off. It's really funny. Like that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's really funny. And then random things happen, like cops show up and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Again, made by one person, that's crazy.
Mostly one person.
I'm
I'm sure there's other, like, designed by one person and put together, but other people had a hand in it.
Did he make it for school? Is that mentioned?
I don't know.
Dude,
I actually don't know.
I wonder if you're that kid or that person, whoever it is.
It's probably a young guy, yeah.
Yeah. If you're that person, do you drop out after that?
Yeah, that's a good question, James. What are you going to school for? Are you going to school for
it's true.
learning how to make video games? Well, guess what? You just shipped a multi-million-dollar making video game. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Please drop out and save your money. You are now have a foot in the door, and you're going to learn more as being a professional in the industry than you ever would.
You could probably
$50,000 at a 4-year school.
You could probably get whatever job you want at this point if you made this game.
Keep it going, man. I want to see part 2.
No. Yeah, drop out, then take the contract.
Sell it and then retire? No,
he's not going to sell it and retire. He'll sell it for like a couple $100,000, and then he'd have to find another job.
He's already made more than that. The game's a $20 game, $15 game.
Right. But I'm saying the license of it is probably not worth that
right now.
But what I'm saying is, you sell it and then you go get a job at a higher end studio.
I guess. Well, whatever.
Now you can.
No, there are pros and cons to this game. Pros being, it's really funny, easy to pick up. It seems to work online. I haven't played it again, but from watching a lot of it, it seems to have no bugs in it and stuff like that. It is an early access game, but
if this game had bugs in it, we'd be in trouble because all indie games would have bugs in it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some, but
there's probably bugs in it, like cockroaches.
Yeah.
Because it's a sim, and for some reason that's everywhere.
I would love to see this guy open it up to the community and let the community mod stuff, so you can have different drugs and.
That'd be hard for him to do though, because if it is
objectives.
It'd be because it's one guy or mostly one guy.
I know.
Like if he has to moderate all that, that'd be.
I think the game's only been out for a couple of weeks. This missed our games coming out this week because I would have totally put that on here, but I don't think the places where we look.
Even had it.
Yeah, because it's an early access game.
Early access indie game. Made by basically one person.
Yeah.
That's basically put on Steam every day.
Yeah.
So it's also one of those games, and I think we're going to see this with the other game that we have on here, which is REPO. It is very much these are very much games that you can't play multiplayer in Schedule 1, but the clips you get out of it are easily accessible and shareable to other people.
You can play multiplayer.
In Schedule 1?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
It's co-op, yeah. Up to 4 people, yeah.
But the clips that you get out of it are something that makes other people want to play really bad.
Oh, yeah.
We saw that with Helldivers. That's how that exploded very much so. And a lot of these games that come out like this, with the shareability factor of it, it makes it so that it's a lot, people want to play it because of the clips they've seen online through TikTok or whatever.
Lethal Company last year?
Yes, another great example, which is basically what REPO is, kind of.
It's pretty much like REPO. Style. But Lethal Company is more horror based. Yeah. And REPO is an acronym, but I couldn't figure out what it meant. But you do repossess items, like little magical items. It's all physics based. It's I want to say an extraction game, but you do go from point A to point B and carry something back to point O. Yeah, you repossess it. And then a scary monster comes at you, but the art style is really, really funny and goofy.
And they're also all starting to do this thing where it's a lot funnier to play if you're doing it with the in-game communication.
Yeah. Very big emphasis on sound design in this game. And for example, some monsters like spray juices into you and then your voice changes. So you'll be like, roar, 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 come follow me. Things like that happen all the time. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and that's like, I mean, that's something that Lethal Weapon, I thought this was made by the same group when I saw it, because I thought it looks the same. A very similar game, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that Lethal Weapon really...
Lethal Company. Not Riggs and Murtaugh.
They need to make a Lethal Weapon game. Yeah, Lethal Company kind of really capitalized on was the in-game communication, because it was all through radio. Everything sounded funny whenever it was going on. Repo is much more of a comedy horror than Lethal Company is. Definitely. Lethal Company is comedic in the way that the players are using the objectives, where this is much more in-game.
There are some jump scares in Repo, but Lethal Company is scary. Repo, I want to say, is scary.
Repo, there's scary parts, like you said, but like sometimes you're fighting off gnomes and like like mini gnomes that are coming after you and stuff. So yeah, it's great. I think this is another one of those things, and I think this for me is kind of touching on a phase that we see come in and out of gaming all the time. Among Us was huge for a while, especially during the pandemic, for a lot of these same reasons. You're playing with a big group of people. The communication is done through the game, and it's done in a very funny way. It requires working with a group of people, like I said, and the shareability of it is very simple. Lethal Company, we talked about, and a lot of these other games that are coming out really depend on that factor, the shareability of it, but also having a group of friends that you can play with that makes it a lot of fun. And that makes it come back to something that I can't believe died on the vine. It came out way too early, way too soon. Evolve would have thrived in today's world. I mean,
we mentioned Evolve a lot, but
I know, but it would have killed. It would have killed today. We get Evolve. What's the BR game that you like to play? That's basically Evolve.
Battle Royale?
Hunt Showdown.
Oh, Hunt Showdown.
It's basically, I mean, it's BR, but it's kind of, you're hunting monsters with a group.
What are you doing? It's not a Hunt Showdown is an extraction shooter. It's not a battle royale.
Sorry, yeah, my bad. But you're hunting monsters. Yes, you hunt monsters. You get the objects from the monsters, and then you extract.
Exactly.
Whatever. That's basically what Evolve is. It's the same idea.
You're right. But there's also a player controlling the monster. That's what Evolve was too. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's a 1v1, a 1v5 or 1v4. There's a word for that kind of multiplayer shooter.
Asymmetric multiplayer.
Asymmetric multiplayer.
Pulled that out.
I can't pull out nowhere. That audio term that is just stuck right here.
I was just saying Lethal Weapon, and I pulled asymmetric multiplayer out of nowhere.
Let's just drink some more of this. Hey, speaking of drugs,
no free sponsorships, by the way. That's not a energy drink by any particular company.
Yeah. So have you seen Repo? Played a lot?
Repo's. Yeah, I've watched it.
It is coming to console pretty soon.
Phasmophobia, another one.
Phasmophobia is another one.
Yeah.
The same thing, except for Phasmophobia is very scary.
Yeah.
Holy jeez, I want to play that so bad, but I need to play it with people.
And again, the same thing. I don't know anybody with the in-game communication. It plays a lot better if you're doing it through the game's communication.
Yeah, you have
system.
to actually talk to ghosts in your audio,
or it doesn't work. Yeah, it's weird. We're seeing this trend kind of happen. Hop on now. It's going up
big time.
So. I just wish more of them, like I said, Repo's coming to console, but I wish we'd get a bigger pop on some of these on console, because they do explode on PC usually, and then it takes them a while to get to console, and by then it kind of the hype for it will end up kind of dying down.
Yeah.
Like Among Us is a good example of that happening.
Yeah, my son loves Among Us.
Yeah, Among Us.
Yeah, I think Among Us is... I don't know why that took off so much, but
it was pandemic, I think.
It's also cute art style.
Yeah, it was pandemic, and it was one of those games, like I said, where you had to play with a big group of people, and I think it helped connect a lot of people together playing a fun game.
Speaking of another people together game, another one that's taking the
world by storm.
And it's more of a niche audience, although it's still popular. But InZoi.
Yeah. It's the one. It's the life sim that you didn't know you needed.
It's the Sims game that you thought the old Sims, EA Sims, would have eventually
evolved into,
but it never did.
It's the Sims game that you always dreamed would become what Sims is, or what Sims would become, and it has not happened. So some team in South Korea said, "Oh, we'll just make it.
We'll just do it ourselves.
We'll just do it." Here's what I'll say:
the character creators or the
insane.
people creator, very, very good.
Absolutely insane.
State of the art.
I've seen Pennywise. I've seen Yoda. I've seen and they're pretty well done.
Yeah, really,
it's pretty crazy.
Also, this it's not so much of an indie title like the other two games.
No.
This is a big budget game. The graphics look fantastic. And the I guess management aspect of the game is very
the life management
top notch.
Yeah. It brings up an interesting conversation about the Sims in general.
And EA in general too.
And the lack of evolution from EA and the Sims as an entire game over the past 15 years. The Sims has basically been the same game.
Yeah, really bad,
I think.
too. Also with microtransactions.
Yeah, true.
Going nuts.
Yeah.
Having no real evolution of the core Sims titles.
The benefit of the doubt I will give the Sims.
They always seem to be fun.
And also InZoi, I think very obviously was making this for the PC crowd.
Oh, yeah.
There's no shot InZoi with the way it looks now is going to come to console because there's just probably too many assets on it. It will basically run your Xbox or PlayStation into the ground.
Yeah, maybe.
Before it actually operates successfully. But still, it's not like The Sims is making anything that's being blown out of proportion when it comes to PC style or the PC version of The Sims.
No.
So I think this is a good thing that somebody's making another Sim style game that will hopefully try to push The Sims forward.
Well, it's kind of like EA has this market, I guess, under control.
They have,
where people who play The Sims, they seem to only play The Sims.
Yeah, The Sims is one of those games that you'll get. There's
your stepdaughter probably plays The Sims a lot,
and they're there's the casual fans for every video game genre. Like sports is a very big casual gamer.
EA
group.
does that too,
and The Sims is right up there with like the 2Ks and the Maddens of the world in terms of casual fandom.
Oh yeah. Well, this is going to blow their minds because they can totally play this game and they'll understand it right away, and newcomers will like it too because you can. My wife would love this game because you could design a house to the very minute detail.
And you can organize it all.
You can organize it. That's
right
what she wants to do.
I'm looking up really quickly. What is the most recent Sims game to actually release? And I think it's 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Sims 4,
right?
but then they
have a bunch of expansion packs and everything like that.
Standalone packs and stuff like that.
Yeah. And Sims 4 came out, I think it was 9 years ago.
Really?
I think that's right. I believe that's right. I'm going to double check that, but I think that's, almost 10 years ago now.
Okay.
Or over 10 years ago now, actually. It's the last time a Sims official release came out. Yeah. So it's been a long time, and it doesn't seem like they have any real want or need, honestly, to
change anything.
Yeah, to change or release a game as high fidelity as something like InZoi.
I think a lot of Western developers, man, and publishers in general, really sat on their laurels, and now guess what's happening?
It's kind of being
someone from
over.
South Korea is going to make a Sims Part 5 that blows it away.
Yeah.
Hopefully this makes EA, and I don't know who makes the Sims, but makes them push out Sims 5. And
yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, they'll dominate the console space, obviously, because InZoi can't.
I don't know if they can't, but yeah.
Well, they're not. They haven't announced that they're coming to console or anything like that. By the way, Sims 4 2014, so 11 years is when Sims 4 came out. Yeah, it does. It really does open an interesting conversation because if you look at the last few years, 5 years of games and the games that you can kind of point to and be like, this is the one that really took a step in a certain direction. Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2.0 when that released, Stalker 2, I think, has kind of that when it comes to the open world sandbox stuff that they put together.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, but
if you don't want to do that one, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. is another one. And those are all foreign developers. They're all either European or Eastern developers. Yeah. All of them. So when it comes to these developers making these next steps, we're kind of seeing all those leaps happen foreign.
Oh yeah. They're all
in
coming
foreign
from
foreign countries.
Yeah, foreign to us, but yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been saying it for so long. I've been saying more specifically, Eastern European developers are really pushing at least first-person shooters, and now East Asian are just dominating.
Yeah,
like what Western players have been wanting for a long time.
Yeah,
and not getting.
Marble Bibles came out, and it basically just destroyed what Overwatch was.
And plus the consolidation of a lot of Western companies like Embracer Group, took over one of my favorite developers, Eidos Montreal, who just said they
just shut down.
They just shut down.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I saw that.
See you later, Deus Ex. Never going to happen ever again.
It's dead in the water. Deus Ex is becoming, or the world around us is becoming the Deus Ex that they put out in the game.
And it's scary.
When it comes to everything is becoming one big corporation or whatever.
Yeah, well,
when it comes to games development,
I guess it's not like Deus Ex still took a lot from like the cyberpunk Neuromancer stories of the 80s and 90s. So,
RIP.
But it's coming true.
Yeah, I think
regardless.
And here another one, InZoi, like we were talking about, it's an Eastern developed game, and it's pushing the envelope when it comes to sim. And nobody was asking for.
It's like at
least here, anyways. The next step in sim lifestyle games,
but it was a spot that
needed it.
Definitely needed it.
Yeah,
because a lot of people play The Sims. A lot of people, and they've been stuck. I don't think a lot of them even realize how stuck The Sims was. Boom, InZoi comes out. Guess what? You're going to be your new favorite as long as you're playing on PC.
Not to mention too,
which I bet most Sims players are on PC.
Yeah, but probably like most Sims players would probably play those games on like something that's not going to run InZoi very effectively.
You're right.
That's the other thing. But also, I think something that the developer for InZoi probably looked at was the overabundance of simulators that we have been getting, just simulators in general. And they were like, well, what if we just do the whole life sim thing and make it look like it's advanced 10 years?
Yeah, make it look modern.
And that's basically what they did.
You can totally do that. It's cool.
They are. Now they're popping off.
Happy for them.
Yeah, it's great.
South Korea has made some pretty good games lately. Stellar Blade was one of my favorite games last year.
You know what's funny? Is I was thinking about this. Is there any other country when it comes to video games that is more we don't really care about the console crowd more than South Korea?
Yeah.
Like, because we're going to make all of the like biggest multiplayer games that are only on PC. League of Legends. What's the other one?
Well, League of Legends is Riot. They're American, but yeah. It's played mostly.
Wait, no, what am I thinking of then?
I don't know. Starcraft?
Starcraft.
But that's Blizzard, also American. But it's played I understand what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
It's played in South Korea more than anywhere else.
Just cut this. Who cares?
No, I'm not going to cut it.
No, yeah,
it's
that's
okay.
Stupid.
We're gaming, dude. We're a bunch of gamers over here.
I remember reading a story about the guy that was at he was at a computer cafe in South Korea, where they all basically play I keep calling it Stargate. I wanted to call it Stargate, but yeah, Starcraft. And then he died because he was playing like 31 hours straight of Starcraft, and he was just downing energy drinks.
That's crazy.
And he had a heart attack.
Yeah, please don't.
Don't. Yeah, I mean, you don't. I mean, unless you want to, but don't drink a bunch of them.
While sitting on
successively.
Your butt.
Yeah, that's how you die.
Also, Starcraft. I did play Starcraft over the weekend. It was hilarious that we talked about this on Nintendo 64.
Okay,
on my phone with my Nintendo 64 emulator.
Your emulator, which
I happen to have a copy of Starcraft at home.
I didn't even realize it came out on Nintendo 64.
Yeah, it did. One of the rare. I don't think it's rare. It was not super popular, but it sold a lot. Yeah, I have a copy of it.
A lot of those games, dude. A lot of those games, I'm like, how do you even play that effectively on console?
It's fine.
Like Halo Wars, that's one of them. Even though it was supposed to be, it's made for console. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this game is so much better if you play it on PC. Because you have your macros and your...
Yeah. I mean, StarCraft is way better on PC.
Of course.
There was no multiplayer component. Well, I guess there was. Now that I think about it. You could do 1v1, I think.
Yeah.
But it was it's slower on console. It's fine.
It's like the people
slow down the the creation aspect of it.
It's like the people that want like WoW to come to console. I'm like,
nah, that's not gonna happen.
No, you don't.
There's just too many hotkeys. The whole thing is designed.
Yeah, it'd be disastrous on console.
Have a keyboard, unless you have keyboard and mouse support, which I don't understand why more game developers don't do that.
Yeah,
Splitgate 2 is coming out pretty soon, or this year, and it's going to come with like right out the bat. Same with Halo and Infinite. Plug in your keyboard and it'll work fine.
Also, the other things too, with Blizzard being owned by Microsoft now, it's not impossible that we could see that come to fruition.
Man, I would love StarCraft 2 on my Series X.
Yeah.
Oh,
because they do have obviously keyboard and mouse support on the console. So
yeah, big time. That's where I mostly play my games on keyboard and mouse on my console.
World of Warcraft or StarCraft coming to console.
Yeah, they're just never gonna happen.
No, sorry. Good prediction though. It's a fun prediction. All right, let's move on. Going from indie game to massive game. Is it massive? This is AAA game.
Doom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive.
Just making sure. No, it's id. Sorry.
You're right. It's not massive.
Doom, Dark Ages. We got previews.
Yeah, we got to go in to be invited.
No, we did not.
We were invited.
This
I got
is April Fool's
hands-on.
joke. Yeah, we didn't do any of that, unfortunately. We'd love to. Id, you know, you'll give me the game. I don't even care what it looks like. I'll say good things.
Yeah, greatest game of all time.
I'll say good things about it.
Well, we both got to see a lot of it, and I have a lot to say about it.
I saw. Here's the thing about previews, to be honest with you. I try to avoid them a lot, especially if it's a game I already know I'm going to play a lot of. Like Doom, Dark Ages, I was sold on the trailer. I try to avoid previews because I want to experience all of that while I'm playing the game.
I was the opposite.
But I watched it.
I was totally the opposite.
Really?
I loved the trailers, but I didn't quite I didn't get a real grip of how the game was going to be played because the trailers make it seem like it's going to be played like Eternal. But I was like, it doesn't quite look like Eternal. And you're shooting people from a lot further away in the trailers. Yeah. So I watched a preview and I wasn't surprised, but I'm interested. I think I'm going to like this more than Eternal. I don't know if I liked Eternal that much. I definitely like 2016 way better.
Okay. Yeah, I like 2016 better as well versus Eternal, but there are things that I wish were in 2016 that are in Eternal.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Grappling Hook was awesome.
Grappling Hook, yeah.
Incredible. And just like some of the puzzle stuff that you can do in Eternal is pretty fun.
The platforming was definitely better.
Platform was better. I actually liked like the little hub world you get every time, like post every mission. You can kind of see the stuff you've collected. I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. I get it if you're not. Totally understandable.
What I didn't like about Doom Eternal was the loop that was required to play. So in 2016, in every Doom game, actually, you basically can play however you want. It's designed to be played quickly, but in Eternal, you have to use a flamethrower to get ammo. You have to use like the melee thing to get health.
You got a chainsaw.
You have to chainsaw. Yeah, you have to do these certain things in order for you to just win. So it made it so that it was less like an arena shooter. In 2016, you go into like an arena.
Yeah.
And you run and jump around and shoot, and the enemy, using all the many different AIs, come after you. In Eternal, you had there was just a cadence that you had to play with in order to progress, because it was very difficult. It
wanted you to, instead of being in cover when you're hurt, it wanted you to get in the face of somebody so you can get health or ammo. If you're out of ammo, get in the face of one of these demons, chainsaw it, then you get your ammo back.
I wanted to retreat and look for my ammo, just like you would do in an old Doom multiplayer match or Quake multiplayer match. You have to just bounce out and then kind of maneuver and platform around the little mini arenas to get your ammo. So Eternal was not like that. Now, Dark Ages.
Yeah, Dark Ages, from what I've seen. So what I thought of immediately when I saw these previews and the gameplay from these previews, and again, it looked like they were only kind of playing in one area, so like one level of the game.
Big area,
yeah. It actually reminded me a lot of the jump from Halo 2 to Halo 3. Where in Halo 3, everything kind of opens up a lot more, and it's a lot more of a sandbox in these single-player missions where you're kind of not necessarily a one-man army, but in comparison to the teammates that you're with, it's a one-man. You're basically a one-man army.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me a lot of.
I definitely got Halo vibes for sure.
They're really putting you in a sandbox. You're running around. I loved some of the weapon stuff that they showed. I thought the shield looked awesome. And
there was a counter mechanic.
Yeah, there was. You could parry certain attacks, which I thought was cool. And then you have the what is that called? It's
a mace.
It's a mace. I thought maces they don't have the whip though.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a ball and chain, literally a ball and chain.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of your melee weapon. The only thing that made me a little not concerned, but I wish I'd seen more of was the executions. There weren't as many as I would have liked to see. There's a couple, but only on like the bigger boss people where you grab the heart and then crush it. But there wasn't a lot of the executions that I like to see.
Well, I noticed that, first of all, there wasn't heavy metal music.
So so the preview I was looking at, they mentioned they had to turn down the heavy metal music because of the copyright issues on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So that was something I saw.
All right. Are they going to use licensed music?
No, but I don't think they can do it because it's not out yet and it's not legal technically for them to play.
Okay, because I knew that was missing. It did feel like the previews I was watching, like it was done in a like an E3 setting,
right?
Where the volume is low,
right?
But it wasn't. So
no, yeah, I think that because I had that same thought too, and then I saw in I think it was a comment from the actual publisher of the video that they had to turn down the actual metal music.
Okay, well that's good. And another thing is, it reminded me of Serious Sam. I don't know if you ever played Serious Sam games, where you basically get dropped into a battlefield and everybody slowly comes towards you. Now, the AI in the game are doing their own thing, and you go to them almost like a Dynasty Warriors type of situation.
Yeah. There
are crowd control weapons like the skull shotgun. It's like a spreader.
Yeah.
Like a Contra spread gun. And I thought that was really cool. A lot of floating orbs coming towards you. So there's a lot less jumping and bouncing off things. I don't think I saw a double jump anywhere. No grappling hook.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's still going to be in the game, though.
I'm sure maybe eventually
later on,
upgrade stuff.
Because that was such a good part
there's
of
a mace whip or whatever you want to call it. And that seemed pretty cool. It definitely is going to be upgraded to something. I don't know.
I think what the clips that we saw was pretty early on in the game. I think that's what they were trying to show.
But I thought it looked different enough. It looked less cartoony than Eternal, if you say that, like less yellows and blues and pinks.
Yeah.
And more grounded in like 2016 with more darker tones, earthy tones and blood.
After you that's the thing about Eternal is after you hit a certain point in that game, it's not really a demon slaying game. You're fighting aliens. That's actually something that happens in the game.
Another thing, I don't think we saw it in the previews that I saw, but there are cutscenes in this game. The developers said they'd want to tell the lore without using the stupid cards like that you would have to read and pick up. So you're going to see more cutscenes,
which I'm cool with.
I don't know if people want that, but I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Doom lore is surprisingly interesting.
It's pretty extensive. If you don't know a lot of the Doom lore and you're just like Doom Guy was originally they made Doom Guy just because they were like, but then they expanded on it.
This is also a prequel.
Yes.
This takes place after the original Doom, before Doom 2?
No, this is before the original Doom. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Or wait, are you talking about
the original Doom
19
the 90s.
Okay, sorry. I'm talking 2016 Doom. It's before 2016
Doom. Definitely
Doom.
Before 2016.
Yeah.
But it's before Doom 2, I think.
So a long time ago, there was this group called the Makers, okay? And
they're aliens.
They basically, there's a lot of lore to, honestly, if you don't read the cards, I don't blame you. But there's a lot in there that you're like, whoa, there's like an intergalactic war going on between these factions.
Yeah, there's definitely hell involved, right?
Yes. And that's it's not like hell like you think, like biblical version.
Yes.
It's a faction, essentially. Yeah. It's odd, but it's cool.
Event Horizon hell.
Yes. Yes.
You guys ever seen that movie?
Or Space Marine Hell. That version of it, essentially.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Marine is crazy when it comes to that.
It's not that extensive, but it's the same idea where it's actually like a
which
place.
Is really funny. There's a lot of alternate, what is it? The multiverse.
Yeah.
is everywhere in media.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of
funny.
popping off. But this one...
If I was a multiverse alien race that was starting a war and letting everybody know that it's coming to get a lot more hotter, I would open it up to society this way.
Coming to get a lot more hotter. That's how they explain it to you. In Philippians 2:14, it's coming to get a lot hotter.
It's coming to get a lot more hotter.
But yeah, if it's going to add a lot of context to the character... of Doom Guy.
Doomslayer.
The thing about that I actually really like about how they tell the story of Doom Guy is it's all, especially in Doom 2016, it's all told through the visuals of the enemy. So they basically write script, the demons basically write scripture about this character that has annihilated their people and their faction over time. And now he's come back to do it all over again and to eliminate them entirely. And this game, Dark Ages, is kind of like the beginning of that story pre-2016 Doom.
Cool.
So there's a lot to it. It's really cool. But it's not one of those things that you need to know as you're going into it.
No, but I think you're going to know after this.
Yeah.
Did you have any concerns about what you saw? Or did you like everything you saw? I liked everything that I saw, but I can definitely tell that people who are fans of Eternal are going to be like, what happened to the super fast pace? Doomslayer seems more like he's kind of a regular Warhammer, dude. Like a Space Marine.
Yeah. And
he moves a little slower.
In the newer ones, he's basically a god. He basically becomes a god. But yeah, I think this is kind of the direction that they did need to kind of step in. Kind of remaking it a little bit, the feel for it and whatnot. But all the important stuff is still there. Like the carnage is there. The weapon variety is still there. That looks very, very cool.
I will say that I wasn't too impressed with the AI. Now that might be because I saw a lot of people play this game and they probably played it on really easy.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of stand still.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of their that's the thing about these Doom
shooting gallery.
Yeah, that's the thing about these Doom games though, is I think that's what they want you to feel.
I don't want
they want you to feel like you're kind of unstoppable.
Like imagine Halo when you're on the ring.
Yeah.
In Halo 3, let's say, on the big multi-ring. Mm. And you're in that the Ark area where there's a giant battle going on.
Yeah.
And all the elites and grunts and brutes, they all just stood there waiting for you to shoot them. And that would not be very fun.
I like to think of it, those demons are kind of stupid anyways.
Okay.
You know?
It's like,
but they do have lore.
Sophisticated zombies.
Yeah. But they get harder as like the different ones come in.
I mean, when the Cacodemon, I think what they call it, the big guys.
The Coco Demon, that's what I call them.
When you were in Doom 3 or Doom 2016, when you're in a room with them, it was scary because they're big and they're hard to avoid. But when they're in a big, wide open space, like, is it really that menacing?
That's a good point. They've really gotten away from the horror aspect of it, though. Like 3 was supposed to be a horror game,
I know,
more or less, and now it's like,
but even in 2016, even in Eternal, you like come across one of those big guys, and you're like, oh no, I can't get away from him.
I also think 2016 was more scary because it was grotesque. Like there was a lot of grotesque imagery,
very in your face.
Yeah.
This one seems a little more medieval.
Yeah,
hey,
which I also like too. I also like that they're building almost a world around Doom Guy in terms of like there's like houses and villages you're going into, and then you're fighting these demons in and whatnot. And so it is building the world lore around him as well, which I think is fun. Well, I'm excited for it. I'm going to play the hell out of this game. There's not very many developers that I look at and point to, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a good game no matter what. FromSoft, obviously, with like the Dark Souls version.
Yeah, even games like AC6.
Exactly.
Like, are people going to like this game?
Right. Yeah. And for this one, like id, I'm like, do whatever the hell you want. I'm going to play the hell out of this game. If it's anything like the previous Dooms, I'm going to love it because they're great. So yeah, I'm excited.
Been a Doom fan since '93, dude.
Yeah, I've been a Doom fan since 2016.
I was telling one of our coworkers, that was my very first intro to like text prompts and commands using DOS. Mm-hmm. I only used DOS because of Doom.
Yeah,
and I wanted to get it running, so you had to, you had to put it in commands to get the graphics card running and everything else.
God, we've evolved in a good way since then. Did you notice the little? It's not really an Easter egg, but the little callback they did with some of the UI.
No.
In the bottom middle, it's your little guy, and he's doing the eyebrow raise and looking around and stuff. It's pretty cool. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited for Doom. All
right, let's talk about this quickly.
Yeah, Game Informer, they're back. They're back. We said goodbye to them. How many episodes was that ago? 20 episodes ago, maybe. Yeah, 15, something like that.
Let's go back to we talked about our favorite covers.
Yeah.
Our history with gaming magazines.
Mm-hmm. They were closing up shop. They were under previous ownership was GameStop, which is hilarious. And now they're under new ownership. They're retaining their entire staff that they had when they closed down. I thought that was good news. And their new owner is Gunzilla Games. It's just a publishing group, I guess. They've got a couple of familiar faces on their board of directors. Neil Blomkamp is on the board of directors.
Yeah, it's his game. Like they made the Off the Grid game.
Yeah, the BR game.
Yeah.
That came out recently and was having like a bunch of ads all over Xbox.
And a bunch of
seen it everywhere.
Well, a bunch of
never played it.
I've played it.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's good. It feels early access, but it's good.
A BR game.
And it's there's some questionable microtransactions.
Oh, okay.
And what is it called? The blockchain stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. They are. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I think it's Gunzilla and like the blockchain or something like that. Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
I mean, you were saying that owned by GameStop's hilarious. I don't think it's that hilarious. I think it's more hilarious that they're owned by Gunzilla, which is a strange Ukrainian company.
I have more. Well, I don't know.
Confidence is the wrong word. People in. But the funny thing is, you sound like you're going to microtransaction a new magazine.
Right. Someone
had to bring this about if you wanted to. I guess people have a lot of money. I don't know where their money's coming from. Probably our money. But they buy this stuff and they're just reviving something that gamers love, which is a good thing. If you're a gamer, I mean, maybe not a lot of people like reading magazines, but I do. I love that stuff. And I love Game Informer. One of my most fondest memories of consuming video game media come from Game Informer and EGM and stuff.
Some of my first memories of consuming games media, like me wanting to get into video games media, not like as a job, but just like understanding the space was through Game Informer. So yeah, I think this is it probably won't be a good move for them in the long run, to be honest with you, because they're not going to make a lot of money off of a publishing or a magazine company.
That's why it's strange. It reminds me of Embracer when they were buying up all these strange IP. You're like, what are you going to do with these? You're just going to
sit on it, basically, and then sell it. But it sounds like they're still. I mean, I went through. They did, which I thought was actually kind of funny. They did a mass review of the games that they missed out on. So you can go and read reviews for, because they closed down, but you can go and read review on Astrobot 2 or whatever. A bunch of the games that they weren't around for to actually review. And then they did a big review for a bunch of them. Yeah. And you can go and look at all of them.
Cool. But it also brings me to a Kickstarter success for EGM.
Oh yeah, true. Go ahead.
Kickstarter, which whatever you want to say about them.
It's funny because a Kickstarter in year 2025, I didn't even realize it was still around.
I mean, it was probably the most successful book Kickstarter in the history of publicly funded games or whatever you want to call it.
Other than,
well, I mean, it's not games, but it's a book.
Yeah.
So it's an omnibus of a lot of EGM content.
What's EGM?
Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Gotcha.
So it goes back, I think, 2 decades.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe more. And
it's not more successful than Star Citizen.
It was GamePro and EGM were my preferred magazines for sure growing up. And I backed it $60. And
what'd you get? Did you get anything out of it?
You get a copy of it, hopefully.
Oh, okay.
I might not ever get a copy of it.
$60 for a copy. Let's go, dude.
Well, it's not $60 for a copy. I just backed it because I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And it ended in November last year. So
Kickstarter can be a dangerous game.
Yes, they tell you, right? They tell you when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, this is a dangerous game.
Yeah. Don't, do you trust this group?
I did enough research to be like, I trusted enough to put money on it. And I'm going to get a copy of it. And some people have already shown copies and it looks fantastic.
So is it like a collector's of all the former EGM magazine
it's almost
stuff?
like a documentary in book form.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Publicly funded doc.
Gaming magazines, we all thought they were dead 4 months ago.
Now they're thriving.
More than ever.
That's the interesting part, actually. I don't know. I'm curious to see if Game Informer does still do magazine version of it.
Oh, man, I hope so.
I do too, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. They're the only ones that are still doing that.
I don't know.
So, yeah, I don't know either. I guess we'll see. But that's the other thing. Like, their website's still great, too. Like, I think it's a good place to get information. But there is a uniqueness to the magazine of it because, like, the
some of the guys are back. They showed all the staff and stuff like that.
They retained all of them from when they shut down. So,
okay, wow. Well, when I was looking at the EGM Kickstarter stuff, some of the old names of reviewers and artists that I haven't heard of in a long time back were like helping make it. And I was like, oh yeah, can't wait.
That's cool. I like that. They should do, if the Game Informer does that, they should do that as well. Make a little documentary on.
Yeah.
It's important. It's important stuff.
I do. Game preservation for me is huge. And that includes, game magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
And gaming culture in general.
Games media preservation is just as important.
All right.
Let's move on. That's it. That's the news. Games releasing this week.
Man, that Nintendo Direct. Wow.
Wow. I can't wait for. And then you edit in something.
I can't believe Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming day one.
Dude, if that happens
a month before everybody else, that'd be funny.
It's not going to happen, but
that would be hilarious if Nintendo goes.
They're like, this is the first Grand Theft Auto game we actually care about.
Here's actual gameplay running on a Switch 2, and it's coming to Switch 2 1 month before everybody else gets it. Wow, that everybody would be Nintendo fans.
Even if it only comes to Switch 2, not even a month before, that would be the biggest news, maybe of the year.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it because we might not. I'm just going to guess that right now, you who are watching this, you're not going to know what the specs are of this thing.
I'm going to guess it's under $400.
Yeah.
And GTA 6 is not coming onto the Switch 2. No. No way. All right. So games releasing this week. You made this list because I didn't look. I forgot.
Only 2.
Go ahead.
Sand. You remember hearing about this game? Sand is think Sea of Thieves, but in the desert.
In the desert. Oh, wow.
A lot more adult, but
they saw Sea of Thieves and they were like, what if we just took away the water?
I know. Blizzard did the same thing, but they're in outer space.
That's true. Yeah. Touche.
But Sand, it looks cool. PvPvE, which is popular.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty hardcore, which I'm always a fan of. If I see stuff that looks like it's going to be very hard to stay alive and hard, like people who are really good at video games are going to excel. You're going to see someone like Summit play this game and he's going to do really, really well.
He's going to find all the spots to lay on the boat and hide from everybody.
Yeah, just hide forever.
Yeah.
But it seems pretty cool. I can't wait to look at it, I guess. I think it's a PC game.
This actually reminds me, when does that Dune game come out? Because that's got to be right around the corner too.
I bought Dune, I was going to say Starship Troopers, so never mind.
What? Wait, are you talking about the movie?
No, I bought Starship Troopers, the VR video game. Didn't get to play it.
Oh, that's a great VR title.
I know.
It makes a lot of sense.
Didn't get to play it, but some people were like, it's all right. It's a roguelite, so it's not that interesting.
So the Dune Awakening game, the big, that's actually been getting...
Where everybody's running on the sand, as if there's no worms anywhere.
And there's a lot of... there's actually been a lot of excitement or building around this game. Comes out May 15th. So.
Okay. Well, this game doesn't look anything like Dune, but you have big mechs that come out of the ground. Yeah. You can have an entire, imagine your ship, but walking over sand. It's pretty cool.
And they look like worms? No.
Nah, they just look like pieces of metal.
There's these things called Spice, but they changed the name of it.
It looks like Mad Max, but with a little bit more science involved.
Okay.
And then Skill Hunters is the next one coming out. And that is also a PvPvE mech game, but made by the creators of World of Tanks.
Wargaming, yeah.
Wargaming. And those guys make very competent games.
Yeah.
Some would say a little pay to win, but
I've
seen a lot of people argue against that. So I'm not sure. All I know is that those games are very hardcore.
Aren't they the ones...
So...
Do they make War Thunder too? And then World of Warships?
No. War Thunder is...
It's a Chinese company.
Oh, War Thunder
that publishes it.
And they make the World War II game too, I think.
World War II game? Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Something. I forget what it's called.
I'm going to look it up.
But World of Tanks. Yeah, World of Battleships or whatever. The World of titles.
Yeah. It's a World of...
You wargaming is Chinese?
No. What's the Battleship game called? I've played that one before, like multiple times. And
World of Warships.
World of Warships. There we go. Thank you. But I'm wondering if... Because I know the publisher is Chinese for... Yeah, Gaijin Entertainment.
Gaijin.
That's who it is. That's who does War Thunder and I think World of Warships. I think they do World of Warships as well.
I don't know, man.
Anyways, who cares?
Whatever. Steel Hunters is a mech game. It looks cool. It looks like a graphical powerhouse for sure. It's going to be one of those games where you're going to be playing against some really good players. Like World of Tanks, some people are really good. And the entry level is going to be extremely hard to get into. But I like mech games, and I'm somewhat into them right now.
You sound like an 8-year-old.
I know.
I'm kind of into my wobots.
Kind of into them. So I'm excited for this game. I'm going to play this game.
Although, I didn't realize. Wow. So they're really taking.
My computer can handle it.
They're making this is a sequel to World of Tanks. They're like,
hey, this is like in the future.
Yeah, in the future when we don't have tanks, we have mechs.
They have swords and stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, people. Yeah, the World of Tanks and the War Thunder and World of Warships crowd. They love the hyper intensity of in the hyper detail of those games where you're messing with like ammo configuration, deployment configuration, the different types of tanks that you're running. It is wild. War Thunder, there's not a game that I've felt more like I had because I started later, bigger disadvantage than the people I was playing against than in War Thunder. That game, I was just getting destroyed on.
Yeah, you do.
And it's just an airplane game. I'm flying an airplane, just destroying me. But it's great. I like War Thunder. It's fun.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
But I guess you would call it a simulator.
Yeah.
Sort of.
There's that other pilot simulator that's a lot more simulator.
Yeah.
In terms of combat. I can't remember the name of that game, but War Thunder's up there for sure.
Yeah.
And you can go from arcade to simulation.
I've watched some people on War Thunder with like actual sim setups and joysticks or flight sticks.
Those are the people that are only playing War Thunder. Yeah. Like that's all.
They're like the Sims, but
War Thunder. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it.
World of Tanks.
Notable games. Any games you're
coming
playing?
Out.
Are you playing MLB The Show and Assassin's Creed?
I'm still playing the Creed. I got to. I've been playing a lot further. I'm into the Yasuke stuff. I'm into playing as him and his character. His story is pretty interesting. One thing I will say that I also like a lot about this game is there is a drastic difference in the feel for the game depending on the character you're playing as. And that I like a lot.
Yasuke, drastic?
Yeah, Yasuke, you're going in, you're a tank, don't care about stealth whatsoever. I have this huge boomstick that I'm just swinging around like it's nothing and killing people in like a couple of shots because I'm huge. I'm gigantic. I'm just annihilating these people.
Okay.
And then if you're Nawe, you're sneaking around, being stealthy, and you could really approach a bunch of the different objectives separately.
Can you accidentally do a Nawe mission when you're Yasuke? And then you're like, wow, I should really switch over to her.
So there's a couple that you have to play as each one.
Okay.
But there are a couple of like side stuff that you can do that is definitely geared towards playing one or the other. But you can do it as either one.
Cool.
So there's like in true Ubisoft fashion, there's like forts that you can go and take over and like and kill everybody in it, and then you'll get a chest reward. And some of the rewards are for the specific character, which is kind of the way that you want to approach it. If you're playing it and you're approaching the fort and you know that it's Nawe as the reward, you want to play it as Nawe because there's more interesting stuff you can do inside of it. So yeah, cool. It's good. And the story is pretty good so far. I don't, It didn't take the turn that I wish it had.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
That seems like every Assassin's Creed game.
That's Ubisoft for you. But, it's still good. I like it. I think the characters themselves are pretty interesting, and I think they are both written pretty well and performed pretty well as well. So,
25% is owned of...
Tencent now.
Tencent owns, not all of them, just Assassin's Creed,
the subsidiary,
Rainbow Six, and... Far Cry.
Yeah.
They are now their own subsidiary company.
Yep. They made a subsidiary, and the 25%, if I remember reading correctly, that Tencent owns of the subsidiary is worth more than what Ubisoft is worth overall.
Okay. Usually it's like 8 billion.
It's inbound, ladies and gentlemen. Tencent is going to own Ubisoft.
It's not looking good. It seems like it just steps to do something big.
And I mean, Ubisoft was basically like, here, just take this and please leave us alone.
Help.
Yeah.
So
stop asking if you can buy us. Just take these.
Oh, there's probably more play involved. I don't know.
Oh,
now,
yeah, definitely.
The game I'm playing, multiple games, but like always.
We're short on time?
Yeah. What?
No, we got 6 minutes.
I can't even talk about it.
No, you're good. You got 6 minutes.
Not Assassin's Creed. AC1. So Armored Core 1 came to PlayStation Plus, whatever premium as their classics.
They really got to figure out those names.
The old PlayStation 1 Armored Core games. Mm-hmm. And man, I've always loved these games, but I like them a lot. Like they're very charming for PlayStation 1 games. A lot of people have a hard time going back to PS1 games. I mean, I understand, and I do as well. But this one seems to be really good. Now, you have to change the controls because when these games came out, there were no joysticks. There were no DualShock.
Yeah. It was all the D-pad.
Yeah, so you look up by pressing R1 and look down by pressing L1, stuff like that. So you have to remap the controls to the joystick. And then when you do that, it's completely fine. It feels like a modern game. And it's like back in the day when Armored Core used to have strict missions, and then you would have you would go up a ladder in terms of a PvE mode where you just play
like Stalker.
A multiplayer game.
Yeah. Where you're like in Stalker, like the original Stalker, when you're going up on the, what is that called?
The tier of
bounty hunters, I guess, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same situation. You get more money when you complete these 1v1s. It's cool.
Did arcade they existed way before the PlayStation 1.
Yeah. Arcades, yeah.
And the
PlayStation 1 probably killed the arcade.
And the joystick on those existed way before the PlayStation 1.
Oh, yeah.
Why did it take us so long to just be like, I take a disc, I make it smaller, and then my thumb use? Like, how did that happen?
I don't know, because Nintendo and Super Nintendo were so popular, and Sega Genesis, they didn't have joysticks.
Yeah, that's true.
So when you didn't really need a joystick until everybody started to do 3D really well. That way you can basically pan a camera using the best way to pan a camera, which is a stick of some sort. And that's how it happened.
What was the first? Was it the GameCube that had the first joystick, or was it something before that?
No, the Nintendo 64 had the joystick, but it was only one. Oh. It only had one joystick.
Yeah, that's right.
It was in the middle.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking thumb joystick.
Yeah, it was a thumb joystick. It was.
I thought it was like this though, wasn't it? No. On the Nintendo 64?
No, well, a lot of people. You probably played a lot like that.
I was a little baby.
But no, there was like a fork, and there's different ways to hold it depending on what game you're playing.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
And so Mario 64 was the first one to use, first console game to use.
That's right.
A third-person camera control.
And they address it really funnily because it's the little turtle on the thing, and he's got the camera.
Yeah, he's holding the camera. He's on the cloud.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And he has a name. I can't remember his name.
Cameraman.
Extreme. Change industry forever. Which Nintendo,
for the better.
Yeah, for which Nintendo does a lot. So before that, like Assassin's Creed, Armored Core, you would use all kinds of different buttons.
Yeah. Ugh. Gross, dude.
To change the camera. It was gross.
R1 and L1 to look up and down. That's a travesty.
If you were to play, GoldenEye was sort of like that, but they allowed you, if you held a button, you can free aim it. But they had the game to use some sort of auto aim. So if an enemy was up, it would automatically look up.
Yeah.
They actually
Time Splitters did that too.
Time Splitters did it a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm playing a boatload of Fortnite.
Look at this guy, huh? Big Fortnite. You got a Fortnite kid here.
And I can't wait to play other games. Another game releasing this week, by the way, or it released last week, was Mini Royale. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
Mini Royale. It's a Army Man.
Right.
This is one you told me to play a long time ago.
No, I don't know. Is it the same game? Because
I don't know. You told me it was.
There was an action figure game that came out. I told you to play it. It was a solo single player game and a multiplayer game.
You're talking about the one where it's like a toy soldiers type of game? No. This one is like a little Army Man.
Okay.
And it's a battle royale. You come out of a blimp that is in a room, or sandbox, and I don't know. You just do battle. It's like Fortnite, but in first person and little army men.
I did not have army men becoming a more prominent or a prominent.
They're coming back. They used to be all over video games.
Yeah,
especially
I know.
Back in the day, Army Man, Sarge's Heroes, and 1 and 2 and 3.
And then Rogue Trooper killed it all.
Rogue Trooper was awesome.
That was the end. That was the end, though. I mean, that was the last one.
Rogue Trooper is one we talked about last week. It's not Rogue.
No, that's Rogue Warrior. We talked Rogue Warrior last week.
Yeah,
Rogue Trooper
not
is the
good.
blue man.
Rogue Trooper is blue.
Yes. That killed it, by the way. That killed the Army Man franchise.
But anyways, I'm playing Fortnite. I'm loving it a lot. My niece is fantastic at this game, playing with friends. And it's always playing with friends who they have kids in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good place to meet up with some old friends who have kids, and then all our kids are playing. So my niece is playing with everybody, and it's fun.
That makes sense.
Old Siege buddies are playing, like Cobb and Deuce, and they all have kids and nephews in their lives, and so we're all playing, dude. It's fun.
That makes sense. That's a cool way to connect. You connect through the children, right? That's how it used to be on the playground, and now we're like, you know what? Let's just play Fortnite together.
Now we're like, hey, everybody, let's get diabetes and get fat and play this game. Spend all of our parents' money.
At least it's not Roblox.
Odin is also really good at this game.
He's a kid, man. Kids are all good at this game. They have ADHD.
He doesn't like to play Battle Royale. He's just playing. Odin is killing it. He plays a lot of horror games. He doesn't play the Battle Royale version.
What? What's he playing on Fortnite?
He plays like the user created stuff.
So the Roblox style.
Like he calls it FNAF. Yeah. Play some FNAF.
Odin, man, just play something normal, man. Play the Fortnite Battle Royale, okay?
But he is like boosting my level, so I'm unlocking a lot of stuff. I love how they do the battle passes.
You put him to work.
Fortnite is fantastic, dude. Every year they just kill it.
I mean, I won't disagree with that.
It's so strange that the dominators of the multiplayer game, like Unreal and the Unreal
Doom?
Tournament, and then
Quake.
No, that's id. But and Gears of War, Cliff Bleszinski, the house that Cliffy B made is now making Fortnite.
True.
Which is funny.
I see what you're saying. You're talking about Epic Games.
Yeah, Epic Games.
Yeah. Well, you know, what they need to do, if Cliffy wants to get back on the map, he just got to make Jazz Jackrabbit again. Remaster it, and he'll be back.
All right.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to wrap it up. Don't get April fooled. This is going to come out after.
Really, that got me good, dude.
I got him good, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week. We'll probably talk some of the Switch stuff next week. If it's important enough. We'll probably talk the price.
Yeah, I really want to know about the specs.
Price. We'll see if it's all announced. We'll be back next week. See you guys.
Peace.